welcome to Pluribus Unum's Fireside chance. Not as good as ours, but hey, it's something. Now that it seems like we're getting to the final episodes of the year, and as such, we're going to be using this time, to ease up on some things, clear the air from this year and, move forth for the next year. There are a lot of podcasts that we're going to be doing for that special occasion. And as you can tell by the title, this one might be interesting, but I think it'll be it'll at least be fun to look back on. I don't know. But before we get into that, let's get right into the news. First, the lowest, this is the least surprising thing of them all. Pelosi was just reelected speaker. Kind of. You see, there was a secret Democratic caucus vote that they stated point blank reelected pretty much all of the leadership positions within the Democratic Party. Pelosi is now in charge of the Democratic Party again. Steny Hoyer is back to his position. James Clyburn's back in his position. We got some other ones that, there were some things that were unique, like Mondaire Jones got elected to be freshman representative. But other than that, there isn't really much else to say in that regard, except for one thing. The reaction seems to be the interesting part. You see, there's been a lot of reactions that many people have been pointing out. Many people have expressed, of course, disappointment with the fact that Nancy Pelosi will be reelected to the speakership, because unless literally all of them decide that they're going to vote for someone else and they all agree on who that someone else is, it's very probable that Pelosi will be serving as speaker. And according to a thingy that she said a little bit ago, this will be her last term as speaker. Though apparently this thing, every time they try to re-ask her this question, so, you said that you weren't going to be speaker anymore. Is this true? They go, she goes, I don't know, maybe, next question. And just even the moderates agree and the progressives agree. She is, no. This ain't it. Pelosi should not be speaker. But I guess at this point, everybody's just trying to be okay, we just need to move forth with what we have right now, and we could play the cards when the things fall. One of the biggest things that I've been seeing online is the supposed reaction towards the squad, because people are mad at the squad because they voted for Pelosi for speaker, even though the only person who has actually stated that they endorsed Pelosi for the speakership was Albiro Cirez. Everyone else has been quiet on who they voted for, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. If they voted for her, okay, she's still going to be speaker. If they decide we're not going to vote for her, she's still going to be speaker. Again, they didn't have a choice. There was no other candidate on the option. I would have loved for there to be a candidate on, I would have loved for, Pocan to run for speaker, because that would have been cool. But he didn't. You just gotta accept the fact. He didn't. AOC didn't run against him for speaker. Ro Khanna didn't run against her for speaker. There was no one who ran against her for speaker. Ergo, there really wasn't any point to, try to get someone else to vote against her. Either way, she was gonna be speaker. And even if they do vote against her, they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. If they vote against her for speaker, they're dividing the party. If they do vote for speaker, on the left is gonna be but here's the thing, and the thing is, they keep saying the squad, they blah blah blah, they hate her. Oh yeah, because 8 members of Congress were definitely going to be getting rid of her for speaker. It's way easy to be the contrarian, but you just gotta work with what you have. Okay, speaking of working with what we have, we have some interesting news about the Biden administration. I think a lot of these, well, at least 2 of these are going to revolve around the Biden administration. Okay, so the Biden administration has gotten one individual who has been openly confirmed to be serving in the administration. I think there's more, but this is the one I'm going to focus on. Cedric Richmond to leave Congress and join the Biden White House. Cedric Richmond will join President-elect Joe Biden's White House, departing from the New Orleans area House Representative seat that he's held since 2011. He will serve as senior advisor to the president and director of the White House Office of Public Engagement. The 47-year-old former chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus was a co-chair of Biden's presidential campaign and a close ally during the 2020 race. He is now set to become the highest-ranked black aide to the president-elect. Now, many people have been mad at this, obviously. Now, you may be saying, obviously, what are you talking about? Well, apparently he is the highest, he's the Democrat that has received the most money from the fossil fuel industry. Now, that's a very interesting problem when one of the things that Joe Biden was trying to campaign on is, climate change. That was one of the things many of these settle for Biden people were trying to do. Look, I know Joe Biden isn't going to give you the Green New Deal, but he will actually do something big and substantive towards climate change. This pick doesn't really necessarily solidify that choice at all. Doesn't make them actually confident. But here's the thing. We gotta look at the silver lining. And you know what that silver lining is? A special election in 2021. Get to it. It's a safe blue seat. Let's see if we can make something work. The next story also revolves around Joe Biden's administration. Unions disagree over Biden's labor secretary pick. You see, since the working class voters kind of made up Joe Biden's base, they want to have some influence in his administration. And there's currently a divide between two people to be labor secretary. The AFL-CIO is currently backing Mayor of Boston, Marty Walsh. Now, I noticed, because I looked at the Boston mayoral race that's going to be coming up next year, and he hasn't announced his intentions for that seat, and I assume this is the primary reason. But a couple of other unions are backing Congressman Andy Levin for the spot. Now, you see, here's the thing. I don't know much about Marty Walsh and his union credentials, but I'm not entirely sure if I want Levin to be out of the House of Representatives. Levin's been doing a decent job. I mean, albeit he is a Warren Democrat, so he's got some faults. But Levin, he's fine, I guess. The only thing that I would say would be a benefit of Levin not being in the House anymore and going to be Labor Secretary would, of course, be the obvious. Special election time. But, I mean, other than that, I don't really matter. It doesn't really matter. I want a good choice for the Labor Secretary. I mean, I want a good choice for all the cabinet positions. But, I mean, Labor Secretary, that's kind of like, I mean, no offense to all the other positions, but, it's kind of one of the positions where you really want a lefty in there. I mean, I'm just saying, it's in the name, Labor Secretary. The left was kind of born out of organized labor, so it's probably where they're most suited to be. Okay, but anyways, next story is coming from Lindsey Graham. The presidential election has been officially, the results from each state have officially been certified. But the one state that apparently has been having a lot of troubles is Georgia. Lindsey Graham apparently requested the, Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, to throw out every single mail-in ballot that was cast in Georgia. Just throw them all out. And it's literally not like, oh, that stupid thing where they should do I want to legally cast ballots. No. He just told him, throw out all the mail-in ballots. There's always been this speculation, but then, Graham just comes out and says it. Throw away all of the ballots. And he's literally just he's trying to, hide, certain things. He's, of course, said, no, I'm not talking about the legally the legally good ones. No. I'm talking about the bad ballots. And it's obvious. I can't believe it's so blatantly obvious at this point that, I don't get how people can even buy it. Like, the Republicans, they're the only people in the world where more people voting is a bad thing. Literally, every single way to get more people to vote, Republicans just don't like it. Registering more people to vote, just outright, nah. Expanding mail-in voting so that more people have time to vote rather than wasting their time on election day when they could have been doing like a job or anything. Nope, that's bad. How about registering people automatically when they turn 18? No. How about easing up on some of the voter restrictions so that we have more of an access? No. How about making election day a holiday so that everybody can go vote on election day? No, bad thing. Anything that is a good thing, like more people voting is a good thing. Don't we agree? We should agree. Even the Republicans would probably say, like, yeah, they agree that more people voting is a good thing, but obviously not, because all of their things are to get less people to vote. Voter ID, it cuts off pretty much every single working person of color from voting, and of course they keep people off of voter rolls, gerrymandering, on. They do everything in their power to try and get so that less people vote, and it's just terrible. And the problem is, Democrats, okay, to be fair, this is an issue where they do good on. They do, like Stacey Abrams. Me and her haven't seen eye to eye, but Stacey Abrams, she's been, like, massively getting people in Georgia to go vote. And that's 100% commendable. Stacey Abrams, even though she didn't get the VP slot, but she 100% carried Biden into the White House pretty much. Activists from the left, from student groups, from black activists, these are the people who got voter turnout to go out. Working people, these are the people who got people to turn out to vote. These were the people that were like, look, guys, Biden, he's not a pretty picture. But look at Trump, look at him. Come on. That's just the truth. And now they want a chance to shape his administration for the better. And hopefully he's able to be pushed on a lot of these things. But yeah. Here's another tidbit of this Georgia controversy that I think is interesting. Apparently, there are some Republicans in Georgia that are so, in their, brainwashed tube, about, how they're rigging the election against Trump, and that the voting machines are flat out rigged, that they were not going to vote in the Georgia runoff. They stated, and they're even blaming Brad Raffensperger. They're literally saying, we can't trust rhinos like him and Brian Kemp, who are certifying the election for Biden. So, and they're either blaming the voter machines, or they're just saying they're not going to vote in the runoff to spite these two. Okay. I don't care. I don't care if you guys don't vote. Yeah, I would prefer if everybody voted and had their voice heard, but let's be honest. When you're trying to get people to throw out legitimate votes, I tend to, you should have a taste of your own medicine in this instance. Okay, anyways, now moving on to the next story. Apparently, the U.S. military is buying location data harvested from apps, including one for Muslim prayers. Joseph Cox of Motherboard reported that the U.S. military is buying granular data of people around the world harvesting from innocuous-seeming apps. The most popular app among a group Motherboard analysts connected to this sort of data scale is the Muslim prayer app and Quran app that has more than 98 million downloads worldwide. Others include a Muslim dating app, a popular Craigslist app, an app for following storms, and a level app that can be used to help, for example, install shelves in a bedroom. I wonder why a group like the military would want to have access to where Muslims are. I'm honestly really strapped for any ideas. I can't believe this. Now here's the thing. these apps have tried to deny it, like saying like, no, we would never sell our data. Come on, you're an app. You sell data. 100%. You sell data. And I mean, this is like the surveillance state. That's just terrible. Like, they're literally like racially profiling in this instance. 100%. Like, could you imagine like if it was discovered that the TYT app was being investigated by like the military-industrial complex? That would be terrible. That would be terrible. 100%. Or like Marxist app or whatever. That would just be absolutely terrible and shameful. Military shouldn't be. Look at me. Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna be stupid. Of course, there are gonna be some people you're definitely gonna want to investigate, but like, get suspect first. Get a warrant. 100% get a warrant. Get a warrant. I mean, as much as libertarian as it sounds, yeah, get a warrant. Show me a warrant, and then you'll be free to investigate whatever the hell you want. Okay, but anyways, now let's move on to the last story. This is coming from my home state of North Carolina. You see, North Carolina is going to be holding a Senate election in 2022. Of course, there are quite a few people who are in the contention for the seat. Let's round off a couple of names that have been floated around, shall we? Erica Smith, Roy Cooper, Jeff Jackson, Heath Schuler. Look at me, Erica Smith has full on stated that she will be running for the Senate election in 2022. At least that's what a news article that I found out literally just said. The Republican side has been more of a wild card. You know, Richard Burr's not going to be running for re-election. You know, so a lot of people have been speculating. You know, George Holding, Mark Walker. I mean, they lost their House seats this year. Pat McCrory, Tim Moore, who's the Speaker of the NC House of Representatives. Dan Forrest, Lieutenant Governor. You know, Pat McCrory, as I mentioned before, is the governor. Well, I mean, he was the former governor. And recently, Laura Trump has recently stated she's interested in seeking the nomination. That's certainly a suggestion that could happen. Now, I'll be honest, I don't really know has been a poll released, yes, so I don't know how close Laura Trump is going to get in a Republican primary, but it's potential we could be seeing like a Heath Schuler versus Laura Trump. That's going to be an interesting election, to say the least. I honestly don't know who I would vote for. I would assume that there's a Green Party candidate or something. But I mean, let me think. Of those names listed, who would I legitimately vote for? I don't know who I'd vote for in the primary, but I could see myself voting for like Roy or maybe not even Erica. I don't trust Erica at all. Roy's interesting. He's been doing fine. Alright, but it doesn't really matter at this point. We ain't gonna be seeing that until 2022, so we'll find out what happens next. Maybe NC will get a blue senator again. But with that out of the way, now here's the main topic of this video. In an effort to sort of clean house, wipe all the bad juju away from, the previous years, now we're moving forward into the new years with, a couple of videos that are going to be sent to like clear the air. One's going to be like a thoughts on, that's going to be incredibly positive for the most part. But this one isn't going to be entirely a positive video. It's going to be kind of negative one. Sort of. You see, this is where I'm going to go over all of my burned bridges. This will be interesting, to say the least. I don't really even know how to describe it. Basically, a burned bridge, for those who, I guess, don't know what a burned bridge is. The idea behind a burned bridge is, of course, a bridge is burned, meaning that there was a connection there, and now the connection is lost. And, in this context, it's more like, in my maybe personality, I guess. And I just going over, like, all the bridges that I burned. Or someone else burned. I don't know. I mean, the different stories behind different ones. I mean, this is only for internet world. There's a real life burn bridge that I had, and I'm like, I'm not gonna go there. You don't want to see me cry in this episode. Okay, but anyways, now I think it might be best that I go over the 2 bridges. I don't know if I burned or if they were burned to me. But I mean, this is really weird. Okay, so the first one, I'm going to say John Wolfe Jr. Now, here's the thing. Again, I don't know if this bridge is burned or not. I could be reading too much into this, but I mean, the last interaction wasn't entirely the most cordial. I don't know if afterwards we rekindled or something, but I don't know. But I mean, okay, basically, for those who don't know, John Wolfe Jr. was a candidate for U.S. president in 2012, and then was a candidate for Senate in 2018. And, I interviewed him on my show. We had a couple laughs, jokes, and ha. But then one day, out of the blue, I was just doing my homework for my school, my technical college. It was like a very strenuous math thing. It was like, you know how it is with, university work. If you went to university, like, oh, it's so close. The deadline is right around the corner. You gotta work really hard and turn something in, or else you're gonna fail the class. Then out of the blue, John Wolfe Jr. DMs me saying, okay, I'm ready for the interview now. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm ready for my interview by George H.W. Bush. You see, this was right after he died, and he was gonna say something bad about him or something. I don't remember. But I pretty much said no, we didn't schedule an interview, but I'm busy right now. And he said, but it'll only take 30 minutes. Blah 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 blah. You can do this interview, and then it can be done. And I said look, bro, sorry, I can't. I'm busy right now. It'll only take and he was getting really mad at me, this is your only opportunity. If you don't do this interview for me, I'll go to someone else. I'm like, then fine, go somewhere else. I don't care. And I mean, I don't know if the bridge is burned, but I don't know. It was just really weird, I guess. Okay, so the next bridge then, this one, it's kind of mixed. I wouldn't say it's burned, I guess. I mean, yeah. Okay, I'll explain it. The individual is Pluribus Project / Charles Clark. You may remember him, or you may not remember him, depending on certain things. But I mean, I did an interview on his show a while ago, and we DM'd each other. We chatted a bit, blah blah blah. And I mean, we got along fine. We had some disagreements. He was a Marxist, an explicit Marxist. I was not. He was a bit more cordial to people Slow News say. I don't even necessarily think that bridge was burned, because I mean, I don't even think Slow News Day. we didn't get along since day one, bro. I openly was like, I mean, chemtrails, it's a bit much, bro. And then he's like, of course you don't believe in chemtrails, bro. And it's like, yes, because I'm sane. Anyways, but that's not the topic. So anyways, Charles Clark, I mean, he was cool, but then one day he just stopped posting videos. I mean, a lot of people were just confused where he was. I DM'd him on Twitter. I was like, yo, what happened, bro? Are you good? And I mean, nothing really came of it. And I mean, everybody was just alright. I mean, they were just kind of accepted. I mean, Charles has just disappeared. Wherever he is, I hope he's good. But then he was just gone. And that's just how things were. Until one day, just randomly out of the blue, get a notification on YouTube where I've been, and I'm like, what? And I clicked it, I watched it, and he revealed he was going through some mental troubles, And like he just disappeared, and he's like he apologized for not telling anybody that he disappeared, but it's like, dude, whoa, dude. Everybody was shocked. Everybody was like, oh my god, dude, you right? It was like we were adding him and we were like talking to him like, yo bro, what's going on? You good? But then not that long afterwards, he completely deleted his YouTube channel and disappeared from the internet again. But this time a more permanent disappearance. I mean, of course, there's potential that he could come back and then do another video or something, but it's pretty obvious he doesn't want to be on the internet, and that's fine. It's good for him if he needs, to clear his head or something. The one thing I will say is if he was going to disappear and delete his entire YouTube channel, I would have personally liked if he, DM'd me first and then told me like, hey, I'm going to be deleting my YouTube channel soon. If you want, you can download the interview that, I did, that you were in, and you can post it to your own YouTube channel for like posterity purposes or something. But he didn't give me the opportunity, and that interview is gone. So technically, I have my own lost media that I can put on the lost media wiki if I wanted to, but I mean, again, it doesn't matter. It's just a silly interview. It wasn't even that good, honestly. There's one moment I literally had him cut out because I was just like, he said something, and then I was literally just like, sorry, I zoned out for a second. That's dumb. But anyways, if he's doing well, he's doing well. If he's not, he's not. There's not much else I can do at this point. Hope he's doing well. He apparently got into some controversy with another, like, independent left person, Savage Joy? I don't even remember what happened. They didn't even disclose what happened. He said, like, something about, like, she told him something that he got, like, repulsed by, and then she was, like, mad at him for, like, saying it. And she's like, I just said this thing. And it's like, I don't know. It's not my business, really. I would like to know what happened, but it's not my business. Okay, so now it's time for the ones that aren't so nice. Whew, this is gonna be a tricky one. There honestly isn't really that many because I consider, here's what I consider a burned bridge. A prominent individual on the internet, like a media personality or something like that. There are some people on the internet that I kind of have like a rocky relationship with, but it's like they don't really have any online presence aside from like a Twitter account where they post like memes or something. So it's not necessarily like this is a big thing. It's just But I'm talking about like these are the big boys, the big ones, the things that were so big and controversial that it could split the fan base. Okay, so here's the first one. And this is one that if you listen to all these episodes, you remember an oldie. Real progressives. Yes, that's right. The whole I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like the whole of real progressives, I guess. And when I say the whole, I don't mean like all of them, just like some of the higher ups and like some of the writer groups. I don't remember, but this is gonna be terrible because I don't remember much about this one because this happened like way at the beginning of like my online presence in this field. So maybe I might find some old episodes where I talked about it and they'll have like a more like remembering response. But here's pretty much what happened between me and Real Progressives. Okay, so Real Progressives, they seem like an interesting website. I wanted to, I was kind of in the idea of posting articles. So then I wanted to post an article on Real Progressives. The problem was, I kept getting the email. I apparently typed in like my email address wrong, and it wouldn't let me register an account there. So I contacted the Real Progressives themselves, and pretty much they actually got in contact with me and was like, okay, hold on, let's just set you up an account with ourselves. So then they set up an account, and everything was going hunky-dory. They even brought me into like some of the Facebook groups to be like, hey bro, this is how things are, you're in the writers group, and if you have interests in other things, you can join those groups as well, and you can talk about, whatever you want on those fronts. I did. I wrote my very first article, and everything was hunky-dory. That was until, like, a little bit afterwards. They were telling me, do some edits here, and I kept asking them, like, how do I do it? How? Because, I was unfamiliar with their website. I didn't know how, like, to edit these. Was I supposed to edit it on the, like, website themselves? Was I supposed to, like, copy and paste it and put it there again? Because I didn't know how that worked. And they wouldn't tell me. Like, the person who was in charge, they wouldn't tell me. And, like, right around this time, there was this controversy because they got, like, another producer of theirs. He, like, made a show for them. He got mad because they, like, ended his show prematurely or something. And, like, he felt like that was them infringing on his show, and he got mad. He threw a hissy fit. And they were telling me things like, he's this young guy. He wants to do this cool things and blah, blah, blah. And, things were going fine, I guess. But then I guess because, I didn't edit the article in the way that they wanted me to, because, again, I didn't know what I had to do. And I kept asking, can you, like, what? How? How do I do it? And they still wouldn't tell me, like, how. Like they were telling me, like, okay, here's what you need to do. You need to do this fragment. You need to divide this up in paragraphs. And I said, okay, but, like, how do I do it? Do I do it on the site? What? How am I going to do that and edit it on the site? How do I do that? And I guess, that just didn't turn out. They were just like, eh. And the thing is, they shared my article previously, as I wrote it. And they didn't seem to mind at the time. It seemed fine. They reshared, like, my tweets about the article and stuff. And then the big day of reckoning came. Okay, so I guess I should preface it again, like, with a little bit more of the chatting things. At one point, I was told by one of the producers, of, like, one of the other segments, like, I think it was the video editing segment, like, pay leader. She told me point blank, like, in order to, hold on, let me see if I can find it. Okay, she says, like, if there's a problem, like, if there's a concern, you can say it in the chat, like, in the main chat that we have, that would, like, the Real Progressive people have, so that we can, like, at least clear things up before things get formally underway and stuff. I was told this point blank by one of the people who works at Real Progressives. Okay, so here's what happens. The day of reckoning, my article gets reposted to the page and gets, like, resent out and re-advertised. I go to the article and notice they edited it. And they didn't just edit it to make it, like, more digestible, I guess. They edited it by doing a lot of things. They added lines. They, like, added a new moral, I guess, to say. And not just that. The lines that they added to my article, they then took those lines and made that the tagline of the article. So, like, when you shared it, it would be a line that they put to advertise my article. Like, I don't remember, like, the article was about, like, the history of, like, Democrats screwing over progressives, but, like, they took a line that they made, put it as the subtitle of my article, pretty much. And I was reasonably, like, a bit miffed. So, following their advice of, asking, talking about a grievance in the group chat, I put a message in the group chat expressing my grievances. The guy in charge of Real Progressives then throws a hissy fit at me and is literally like, how dare you try to hold your dirty laundry? Like, and he's, like, mad at me. He's like, fucking delete his article. because I am not gonna have this shit happen again. This is my livelihood. It's like, I just expressed a concern. I didn't do anything. And then, like, the entire, like, site was, like, I mean, the site, some were like, yeah, I mean, I get what's going on. This seems a bit more interesting. Like, some took my side, some didn't take my side. And I mean, like, I didn't even have the Facebook Messenger app. So I was on, like, Facebook in, like, mobile Facebook. Like, I didn't have the app for Facebook or the Messenger app. So, like, literally, I was on Facebook getting these messages, and they were going so slow that it was hard to respond. Look at me, and the aforementioned, like, top guy at Real Progressives, I think if it's the same guy, I don't know. I don't want to say their names. I don't want to say anybody's names because I don't care anymore at this point. I mean, it's probably the same guy. I mean, like, he was basically, like, yelling at me, like, screaming at me. And then, like, legitimately, I'll be honest, I mean, I was younger, and I wasn't necessarily prepared for that. So, I mean, I'll be honest, I legitimately cried myself to sleep that night. Like, I was crying when I was having, like, just fucking delete the article. I don't care anymore. And the next day, I just left the writing Facebook group, and then, you know, I was trying to be, like, calm, be like, okay, I left the Facebook group for writing. Let me just talk this out. You know, we can accept this. And then guy in charge again says, "We accept your resignation. Good day." I'm like, I wasn't resigning, but okay. And that was it. The end. I didn't. I mean, I'll be honest. I didn't look back. I don't care anymore. I mean, Real Progressives, they could try to word an apology. I don't care. I'll admit. I'm giving my side of the story, and I'm making myself out to be like a perfect angel, but I'm not sure if that was the case. Maybe I was just too immature or something. But basically, that was the story of Real Progressives. Now that's the bridge that was burned. That was the hardest one, I guess. The rest of these guys, not as hard, because I'll be honest, the Real Progressives group, I like being a part of, like, a big collective group. You know, these are people I can talk to. These are people like I shared connection with. You know, they were like allies, I guess. And they were encouraging, I guess. They were like, "Hey, I like your articles." You know, they seem nice. Then they'll just turn on me at the end. Okay, I'll be honest, I guess the second one actually does kind of hurt a bit. Hill of Roses, Jonathan Muniz. It doesn't hurt anymore, but it's because I went through, like, real heartbreak afterwards, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm desensitized at this point. Okay, so Hill of Roses, like I mean, my interaction with him was pretty innocuous at first. He just followed me on Twitter, I guess, and then I realized, oh, this guy has a show. I guess I should check him out. You know, this was at the point where he had, like, 54 subscribers and I had, like, 100. And basically, here's what I did. I shouted him out. You know, I gave him, you know, like, I gave him a shout out. I gave him a plug in one of my episodes because I was like, this guy has some good shows, you know. You know, we could rework some of the things. I think he has certain things that I don't necessarily like, but, you know, his show seems fine. And because his show, like, this is ironic. It's really ironic because I said this, like, at the beginning, like, me and his shows were sort of reversed. Like, his show was all about the policies and, like, nothing about the personality. Whereas my show was a lot about the personality. And, you know, you would expect the show where the person is on camera to be more about the personality. Whereas the show with the person not on camera would be less about the personality. That's interesting, but, you know, it's a thing. You know, I gave him a plug, and then, you know, afterwards, me and him shot an interview together. Like, it was an interview on his show, you know, because the idea was, you know, I would, you know, get people Like, I mean, I think, like, most of these left tuber guys, they, like, try to, like, do the thing where it's like, you're free to use the clip however you want. It's like, no, bro. This is your show. Why would I want to take this clip from your show and put it on my channel? I didn't put in the work. You're the one who got me to sit down the audio and talk to you, with your questions or whatever, I mean, this is your show. Especially considering, since, again, he had a smaller channel than mine at the time. The idea was that I was going to, like, advertise this thing, and I would get all my subscribers to go to his channel. I would be the bigger man, help the little guy out, as a leftist does. And, we DM'd a bit, I thought we were friendly. Things were going good. And then John Munitz kind of started, this was like, he was originally like a Bernie guy who, like, kind of leaned Yang, but then he went full on Yang. And, that made some people go, aight. That made some people go, yes, finally. But then that made some people, go, no, I didn't like that. Niall Elkin of his show, like, he famously said, like, you and your Hill of Roses are now dead to me. And then he kicked him out of, like, all the DM groups that we had and blah, blah, blah. And it was basically like, well, hold on, Niall. Maybe ease up a bit, I'm just saying, maybe you don't have to be so harsh. And I mean, I was DMing, John. Well, I was DMing, like, the defenses of John in the DM group. And I was basically, and me and John were basically kind of like, I'm like, yeah, I'm just saying, I was standing up for him. Being cool. Because, again, I thought I was friendly with him, and he seemed alright. But then, as he kept getting, like, more and more Yang-oriented, he kind of started doing the thing that, candidate stands do. Like, I mean, I think he stated, like, he wasn't, like, I mean, he was a Yang stan. Like, he started doing the things where it's, like, hyping up Yang and, like, diminishing Bernie. And we would mention this frequently. Like, I mean, I mentioned, like, I would say that I would give, like, reasonable criticisms of Andrew Yang, and he would get mad. I would say things like, maybe, no offense, but Andrew Yang, when he says, like, the same line of, like, I have a wife and 2 kids at home, one who's autistic, and when he says that exact same phrasing over and over again, it sounds like this is rehearsed and not natural. And he was, like, saying, I thought you liked people repeating themselves for 40 years. And I'm like, bro, calm down. I just realized, I think I might have accidentally did a, I was just doing the, like, mocking voice. I'm not making any references to anything like that. I'm just saying, that was just my mocking voice. Like, you can listen to all my other shows. I do the same mocking voice for everybody. But, like, yeah, like, he kept saying things that just kept being, and they kept getting more and more outlandish. And the thing that really seemed to bug him, this was the thing that really bugged him to the point. He made this list of, like, Bernie versus Yang, and he did this thing where it's like, the rose would represent Bernie, and the hat would represent Yang, and he would say things like, and the whole point of it would be, like, he would list a thing, and they would put the emoji of the candidate that he thought best represented those things better, and it would be, like, climate plan, Yang, workers' rights, Bernie, consistency, Bernie, innovation, Yang, crossover appeal, I don't know, Yang. And this is the part that really bugged me. And I think it bugged a lot of people. This is the one point where it was legitimately like, what? He put electability, Yang, to which I responded, citation? And not that long afterwards, he blocked me. I was legitimately like, yo, what the fuck, dude? Dude, I thought we were friendly. What? Okay, I guess there was one thing before then. I noticed that he kept unfollowing me and then following me and then unfollowing me. And I was, like, calling him out, and I'm like, yo, bro, I just noticed that you unfollowed me. What? Did you have a problem with me? Are you going to say something? And then he would follow me again, and then quietly afterwards unfollow me, and it's like, this is very suspect. Are you experiencing a Twitter glitch or something, my bro? Hello? I was being dumb, but I mean, that was definitely like, yo, what? Why'd you do this to me, fam? And then a little birdie told me something. Apparently a little birdie got in contact with him and told me point blank, like, why he blocked me. Here's the apparent reason he blocked me. All he does is making annoying negative comments. It's never constructive criticism or just positive of the opposite point of view. It's really tiring to listen to a constant negative presence. I responded to that by saying, well, some of the things he says are worth criticizing. He blanket says Yang is more electable than Bernie. I respond based on, because he does not explain why. If he did that to a post of mine, I'd respond with evidence in my point to back it up. And that's the thing. He's literally blocked me because I asked, like, do you have any evidence to back up your claim that Yang is more electable? And, he ignores it. Like, I mean, I gave criticisms to Andrew Yang, and he flat out ignored it. Now here's the thing. If he gave a critique about Bernie, that was like an actual critique of Bernie, or he like asked me to like prove a case or something, I'd give it to him because that's kind of what I'm here to do. But he didn't do so that's and he's just been falling down more of the deep end. Like, he posted a tweet that literally got him to delete his account for a little bit. Like, he literally posted a tweet that was literally like, if Bernie didn't run, we'd be saying President Warren right now. And that literally made him delete his Twitter account for a bit. And then there was another tweet where Cal Kalinske said, we should put Roe in the Senate because, Bernie won California. And then John was like, actually, he only won a plurality. It's like, and he still won. No, it's even worse. He said Bernie didn't win, and then the next sentence said Bernie won a plurality. What are you talking about? I know this because he unblocked me, but he hasn't even made an attempt to be like, yo, bro, try to bury the hatch or anything. Oh, well. Doesn't really matter. I don't want. But, I mean, like I said before, literally after that John Munich stuff, I experienced real life heartbreaks. So that put me in perspective. These are my people. Who cares? Okay, the next person is Nico House. Now, Nico House, technically, I wouldn't even even like a high up person like a Jimmy Dore, I wouldn't say I burned the bridge with him. I guarantee you, if he saw my videos, he probably wouldn't be so keen on, being an ally of mine. But I mean, me and him, we never really interact. Oh, well, we did interact this one time, but like, I mean, that's not really an important story, I guess. It doesn't really matter. But like, Nico, me and him have interacted on Twitter quite a few amount of times. He's liked some of my tweets. But then, like, he being the total stan that he is, he would always like post BS responses to like my stuff, like, oh, she's supporting the Giant Paul bill, and I literally point blank said, like, Tulsi was not an early supporter of Medicare for All, despite the fact that Nico House and Cal Kalinske even stated that she was. She is not. And here's the thing, you need, like, when you say an early supporter of a bill, the idea is you supported that bill for a long time. Yes? Okay, so you can't really say that when your first introduction of supporting this specific bill was in 2017, which is exactly what Tulsi Gabbard did. And she expressed no interest in a single-payer model prior to the Bernie Sanders bill being introduced in 2017. Right after it became popular. Early supporter of the Medicare for All bill would be like a John Conyers or a Barbara Lee or a Pete Stark. Not Tulsi Gabbard. For this new Medicare for All, you could say like an early supporter would be like, people who supported this particular version of the bill. That's fine. But, she was saying early supporter of Medicare for All back when it was still just, like, before the Giant Paul bill even happened. This was before Sheena Tlaib was actually elected. So John Conyers was still in the House of Representatives. Or maybe it was Brenda Jones at the time. I don't know. But anyways, me and him, we had our tussles. We disagreed. He blocked. The end. Now, here's the last two. Save the best two for last. because I don't think Nico has had a particularly like nice view of me prior to then. But I mean, this is the last group of people. William Pounds and Chad Wilson. My boys. These two, they make me laugh. These two, they put a smile on my face. I'll be honest. Okay, so these two, they were actually a very interesting group of people because here's the thing. I mean, we see a lot of indie media people who are independents. We see a lot of indie media people who are like Democrat supporting only, and we see some indie people who like support third parties only. But William and Chad were different. They were indie media people who were exclusively in the Green Party. So they were kind of like how like a bunch of libertarians have their like own shows and they're like, like Free Talk Live and Adam Kokesh versus the Man. These guys were like kind of the Green Party version of that. And what put me on their radar and what kind of put them on my radar was, the controversy surrounding the Green Party nomination process. There were a lot of shady things that happened in that process, and some things I was like, this was during the time when it was literally just like how he just entered the Green Party nomination, and there was this controversy about him, getting a tweet on the Twitter account. I guess I should mention there's also another person that gets lumped into this kind of group, Primo Nutmeg, but we'll get to him when we get to him. But here's the thing, me, William, and Primo Nutmeg were the only people who were really talking about the Green Party primary, like, extensively. Because, for different reasons. He's a registered Green, Primo Nutmeg, because I knew, like, at the end of the day, like, it was very certainly, there's a very likely scenario where the Bernie crats are going to want to move to the Green Party, so it's best that we see what the process is and see our options, so we can at least preemptively know which of the candidates that we would like. And I thought all the candidates were good, but I was listening to some of their, grievances. I had Ian Schlockman on my show, I had Synonym on my show, they expressed some, like, concerns of favoritism within the party. I think this was before Chad even entered the Green Party primary. Maybe he was just entering the fray. Chad, like, William had me on his show so we could talk about, like, the Green Party primary. And I think the video is still up. I don't know if they deleted it. It would be a dick move if they did delete it. But keep it around, sure. I don't even care if you, like, retweet, like, repost it with, like, the caption saying, like, he's stupid. Okay, who cares? Just keep the interview up. Or if you're gonna delete it, at least tell me so I can, like, keep it around, I just want people to, like, have, have the resource available to them, I guess you could say. Okay, so, basically, he had me on the show, we talked about, the Green Party primary, and then, we laughed, we chuckled, we had a good time, we kissed, good night, the end. Usually he does the shows live, but he made the exception for, like, me to, like, be pre-recorded because it's stuff to do, I think. I guess, I don't remember. But pretty much, everything was fine. The one controversy I did have was, like, the one problem I did have was, the comments were, like, almost exclusively to do with, like, controversy with the, Green Party primary. I was like, come on, dude. This is a show about me. I wanted to, come on, are you going to talk about me? I was on the show, bro. But, I mean, whatever. I mean, it was fine. It was fun. I'm like, yeah, I'd do it again, sure, whatever. But, like, then the Green Party primary process, like, went on. There were some things that did seem, like, weird. I found it very weird that these, like, Chad, William, and, like, I mean, and Chad, he said, like, let me read the first tweet that Chad sent me because this is funny. It's going to be funny. Oh, no, wait. The first tweet of his was against me. I just realized, I looked back at it, the first tweet he sent to me, well, okay, so here's what happened. I tweeted, so tomorrow is the official deadline for the Green Party U.S. candidates to be officially recognized by the party. Currently, only Howie Hawkins and Dario Hunter qualify. Meanwhile, Sedinem, Dennis, Renaud, Arnahu, David Rode, and Chad Wilson get left in the dust. I haven't exactly been quiet about my issues with the strange process of the Green Party primary, as I feel it seems to draw strange lines on who counts as legitimate candidates. Example, in 2016, the Green Party had their 2012 candidate, a university professor, the Green Party Black Caucus founder, a prominent environmental activist, and a person who ran to be the Green Party presidential nominee in every single election since 2000, run for the nomination, but only 2 of them were counted as real candidates. These are concerns that were brought up in 2016, and yet here we are, same issues, all but one, different faces. Chad's first tweet to me after that thread is this: so you celebrate election fraud, rigging a primary. That cutoff date was added just this month. Further proof the Hawkins campaign rigged it. Ignoring one rule and adding extra is only example of corruption. Hashtag Hillary Hawkins. I literally sent him a tweet afterwards saying, Chad, read the thread. I'm not celebrating it. I'm calling it out. Then his next tweet is, well, then that's different. My apologies then. It's a good example of how the toxic behavior of the party can create a culture of defensiveness. Good lesson for us all, myself included, and thank you for calling it out. I am the one who's been talking about this the most, aside from maybe Pre-Run Not Megan Ian Schluckman. Well, you got a friend in me. I'm here to help clean out the corruption. But it's the only way we can become a viable party. Being viable is the only way to break the two-party system. It's why I exited. I never green entered, because being independent is better semi-open primaries, but I still give third parties their chance to shine. Okay, so that was an interaction between me and him. Okay, that sounds nice. But then things start changing. You see, I noticed this, Primo, Chad, and William, they're, calling out, that was why I was going in there. I was just calling out, the bad faith actors when I see them. And, I called out the BS, that some of the things that they were saying, the Green Party people were saying, Andrea Merida Quellar was literally she was Howie's co-chair, but also a co-chair of the Green Party. It's saying, oh, I'm wearing 2 different hats. And it's no, just resign from your post. Do the right thing and just resign from your post. What are you doing? Green Party sends a tweet to, about, oh, we're happy that Howie is entering this presidential nomination process. Meanwhile, it doesn't do anything for the remaining candidates. And it's and then when the candidates call them out, they go, okay, we just don't do tweets for about anybody anymore. It's what? No, that's the exact opposite of the solution. And I was calling them out when need be. But I always added, I always knew there was going to be something that the other side was going to say, that there was going to be something there that they were going to get wrong, and I would be there to clear the air. I was legitimately the most unbiased person in the Green Party primary. You see, Chat, and we'll get to why those 3 became unbiased. Well, I'll tell you why. But I was the most unbiased person because I didn't care who became the Green Party nominee ultimately. If they nominated Chad, I was alright, I'll work with this. If they nominated Howie, okay, I'll work with this. If they nominated Synonym, okay, I'll work with this. Dennis, alright. Pretty much anybody I was down with for being the Green Party nominee, unless I did further research that indicated otherwise. And the only candidate that I was legitimately 100% throughout the entire primary, I can't support them, was David Rold, the guy who says the 9/11 was a false flag made by the Zionists and the COVID-19 is a fraud. Can't necessarily support that guy. I didn't find out about the second one until way later when COVID actually happened. But basically same thing. He was a conspiracy theorist, and he was a communist. But I'm we would have crossed that bridge when we crossed that bridge. But he's the far left crazy loony bin guy. That's what the people, when they say crazy far lefty, that's what they think. Basically, again, and I was there to just spread the message. when Ian Schlockman posted that letter where he literally said like how Kevin Zeese tried to get him to drop out of the Green Party primary, I posted that on the Independent Political Report, and flat out, and and do you know why I posted on the Independent Political Report? Here's why I posted on the Independent Political Report. I didn't just post it to get like clout. I posted it because Kevin Zeese wrote for the Independent Political Report, so I knew he would see the letter. And that got his attention because me and him got into an argument about certain things. Now, I'm not going to reveal what he said because, for many reasons, you know, if there was something there that I felt legitimately was like evil, sinister, I would have done something. But honestly, there wasn't anything there. He said things that on certain things, like, I mean, I will say, like, the things that, okay, let me explain. Like, he said, like, oh, the whole gist of his argument was, like, he wasn't trying to say, like, drop out Ian as the Hawkins co-chair. He was saying it as Kevin Zeese, the man. But I was telling Kevin point blank, like, yeah, but your intention might have been one thing, but don't you think it would have been a little suspect doesn't that seem suspect that you would do that? Like, you're camping co-chair, and you're telling another candidate drop out of the race. Like, I mean, don't you think it's suspect? And he's like, no, it's not suspect. I'm just saying as me to him. It's like, but buddy, he didn't seem to understand what the problem was, and that was weird to me. But I mean, ultimately, there was nothing I could do aside from like spread the message where I saw fit. You know, when Primo Nutmeg had like Mike Gravel on, and then Mike Gravel was like, and then like how he was touting a Mike Gravel endorsement, and Gravel was like, I don't even know who Howie Hawkins is. I reported on that because, you know, that was something that was notable that needed to be reported on. I felt that was a shady thing, and, you know, it should have been talked about. But then, you know, things started getting weird. The claims started getting a bit more outlandish. You see, one thing that they said was, like, they were mad at Howie for seeking the Socialist Party nomination, and that was legitimately like, but, you know, but, like, the previous nominees have done that too, you know, seek nominations of other parties, but what? And that didn't seem to be brought up. And then another thing that made me start distancing to myself was that, like, it was one thing to just critique Howie, you know, give him critiques, but they seemed to get, like, personal attacks and stuff. Like, they were being incredibly, like, weird. And then one more thing was, like, they seemed to be pushing a narrative. Their narrative was, the Green Party nomination is completely null and void. That's why we need to nominate Jesse Ventura for the Green Party nomination. And I kept calling them out for that. I was critiquing them for the things that they said that they were wrong. You know, I'm like, yeah, but candidates have previously run for the nomination for other parties previously, so what's the problem? And they got mad at me for saying that. Then I would say, you know, why are you pushing for Jesse Ventura? He's not interested in running. He stated that he's not interested in running, so there's no point. Why do you keep pushing this nomination when in fact you should just be focusing on the issues with the Green Party primary, which, again, still had legitimate concerns, and I was calling out the legitimate concerns. Like, hey, they lowered the delegate count to become the official nominee. What the heck, bro? Again, why you were doing certain aspects of that, but, you know, it's still a little sus that you dropped it this low. Then Primo Nutmeg blocked me, and, you know, William Pounds and, like, Chad Wilson just got, like, very aggressively angry, to the point where I literally get to the point where now I literally just try to set them off for some reason. Like, one time, like, I'll get bored one day, and then I'll just be like, I wonder what Chad Wilson's up to. Chad Wilson will post a thing, it'll be like, oh, by the way, Jesse didn't run. Like, he's so easy to set off, man. It's just funny now. And he still follows me on Twitter for some reason. He's called me Howie Hawkins' sheepdog. He said that I'm on the nuts of Howie Hawkins, which is a bit homophobic, TBH, but we'll let that slide. And, there are even some points where they legitimately what? It's glad that I burned the bridge, because William Pounce, I literally point blank told him, Cynthia McKinney, one of his idols, is anti-Semitic. And he says, no, you got proof? And I'm like, well, yes, here's a tweet where she says that Jews did the Russiagate. Here's another tweet where she said that, this article where it tragically says that Holocaust victims, only 4 million have been identified. The remaining 2 million have yet to be identified. And then Cynthia McKinney responds with, I guess there wasn't 6 million after all. And he's literally, and he does the blatant Holocaust denial in a way. He defended those. He literally defended those. Yes, we should look into Israel interfering with our elections. And I'm like, well, no one said Israel. We said Jews. The article says Jews. Cynthia McKinney, she didn't say Israel. She literally quoted Vladimir Putin, who literally said Jews did it. And he's like, yes, we should investigate Israel. No one said Israel. Israel's not mentioned once in the article. Yeah, we should look into Israel. No, Jews, Jews. Like Cynthia McKinney's father once said, Jews, Jews. The Jews were the thing that were mentioned. You're defending anti-Semitism. And then with the stupid friggin' Holocaust thing, he literally said, well, numbers are subject to human error, so maybe that's literally a textbook definition of Holocaust denial. What are you talking about? Literally, it says the textbook definition of Holocaust denial is either denying it didn't happen, denying the Nazis' intentions, or denying the number of people that died. It's literally textbook Holocaust denial. And then when I called him out on that, he's literally no, I still think it happened, but I just say that the numbers are subject to human error. It's legitimately so infuriating. There's so many people who are frauds and fakes. It's so infuriating. But who cares at this point? Again, this is supposed to be clear airtime. That was in the past. It's finito. I don't need to know anything about that. Okay, well, I guess I should mention Chad Wilson. Chad Wilson, he didn't go textbook Holocaust denial or anything. But, day one of his campaign, he literally, got called out by the Green Party for, having a, as Niall Elkin put it, he has a Nazi look, and his campaign logo, I remember when he said that on his show, Niall Elkin was like, Chet Wilson gives me weird Nazi vibes, and I was like, and I was literally ooh, 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 ooh. I was literally screaming at my screen, and just and typing in the chat, look up his campaign logo, because I remember the day he launched his campaign, the Greens in the official Green Party group, they were literally don't I find it a bit weird that the young white man looks like this, and his campaign logo is literally looks exactly like the Nazi logo? It's a very interesting thing that happened. But I don't know. For all we know, Chad Wilson is just really dumb. I don't know. I could buy it, but either way, what's done is done. Those are the bridges I burned. Let's see how many more I burn. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the future video mine comes out. And if you're interested in more content from me, you can go to my website, follow me on Twitter, join my Discord, or check out my articles on the Independent Political Report.